Great Girlfriends, we invite you to What Women Want 2017, June 15th through 17th in New York City, powered by Prudential. The 2017 What Women Want Conference is all about uniting women from around the world in one weekend with power talks, workshops, dance breaks, beauty and wellness tips, and authentic connectivity that will inspire you to return home ignited to create change. This year, our theme of building bridges and breaking barriers is about women creating connections first with themselves and then with others to lead an outstanding life. At What Women Want, over 200 great girlfriends will go from me to we as our programming will guide girlfriends on living a life full of purpose and power. Connect with like-minded women who stand as bridges towards higher living and meaningful relationships. Gain clarity on what they truly want to manifest in their lives and their friendships, and celebrate the power and passion that women display when we leave all of our cares behind and savor the experience. So last but not least, log on now to whatwomenwantconference.com. Again, that's whatwomenwantconference.com, and grab your tickets while they last. We'll see you there. Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
And we have a guest guy friend.
Yes, we do.
Hey.
Fitness maven, Scott Parker, Scott P. Fit. Hey, Scott.
Hey, how you doing, ladies?
We're good.
Awesome. How are you?
Good. I'm happy to be here. Am I the first guy to be on the show?
You're actually the second guy to be on the show.
Okay, well, don't worry about him. This is the good stuff that's about to start now. I don't even know who the brother was.
It was my husband.
Oh, well, let me retract that. I'm sure it was impactful.
I love it.
Oh, Scott, we're so excited to be talking to you today. Like, our great girlfriends are in for such a treat.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
How was your weekend, Scott?
My weekend? Well, let's see. I had a 16-hour flight from Dubai to Los Angeles on Sunday going into Monday. Wow. And I spent the rest of Monday trying to recover from that. So I was blessed to be traveling, but it was an exhausting one.
Wow. How long were you in Dubai?
I was there for 10 days. I traveled with Omarion, who's a music artist. I'm sure you remember him from the B2K days, and now he has a solo career.
Yes.
So we had some shows over there, and then we did some private events for the Formula One race weekend over there. I didn't realize that Formula One racing is like the biggest event. It's like the equivalent of our Super Bowl.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's, hundreds of thousands of people and concerts and shows. So it was really interesting. It was a great experience.
Wow. Was that your first time in Dubai?
It was actually my second. The first time I was there, all I did was concerts, and then we back to the airport. So I kind of got to explore a little more this time.
Nice.
Yeah, see some different aspects of that part of the world that, we get a lot of information and a lot of misinformation on certain areas. So it's always good to see them for yourself.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, what'd you do this weekend, Sybil?
Pack.
Oh.
and pack some more.
Oh, yes.
That's it.
Well, you had it, Sybil. Where you going?
Just shifting residences in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
I know. When you got to pack little kids and little toys and,
That's my old stomping grounds. I did 8 years in East Orange and Newark.
Did you?
Yeah, before I moved to California.
Oh, wow.
That's where that area code comes from.
I was a pharmaceutical rep in that area.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of what I talk about to you guys, I learned from my training in the pharmaceutical industry. I worked in that industry for almost 13 years.
Okay, so listen, before we go any further, we need to dive deep into who Scott is. So Brandis and I had the pleasure of meeting Scott at Restoration Weekend in St. Thomas in October. And Scott, you were so on fire about health and wellness and fitness, and just from the inside out. You weren't just talking about fitness routines, you were talking about whole living. And so your message just really inspired us to the point that we were like adamant about making sure you came on the podcast.
Well, even though y'all missed the workout, I'm glad that I still had an impact in the lecture portion. Now, y'all know I wasn't going to let you slide. You know I was not going to let you slide.
Remember, I had that boot on my foot.
And
That's
Scott, I
have a
early.
fix for all injuries. There's no excuses in this
I
life.
know, because while she had that boot on her foot, she was in the middle of the ocean on the on the trampoline.
Really?
You were on the trampoline. I also saw you on the dance floor doing a little line dance. So, you got a selective foot injury as far as I'm concerned.
That is so true. Why did we miss that workout?
I was leaving early.
I think I didn't have the schedule right. I don't know what happened.
Because I was in charge of scheduling, so you had the schedule
I was
right.
trying
to put it
get
on me.
there. Oh, Lord. I was working out in my spirit.
Well, that's where it starts.
That's right.
That is where it starts.
That's where it starts.
That is where it starts.
Got to make a decision first.
So most of us will know you, Scott, from that Bam Boom Essence cover when Jill Scott came out looking like fine wine.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's my girl, Jilly from Philly.
Jilly from Philly. I mean, she blew all of our minds. That cover was everything.
Absolutely.
It was everything. Well, she just looked.
She worked really hard. She took a really serious look at her nutrition and made some simple changes, and we worked together. It wasn't something the way most people would envision it. It wasn't a lot of running on the treadmill and spending hours and hours and hours in the gym. We actually did a lot of that by riding bicycles around Los Angeles.
Oh,
wow. A lot of artists aren't necessarily athletic, or at least in terms of their interests.
Uh-huh.
So I always encourage people to find things that they enjoy. There's a million ways to work out. At the end of the day, you just need to burn more calories than you take in.
Yeah.
And you'll get smaller. So how you do that, is entirely up to you. So there's no one way. There's no right, no wrong. As long as you're moving and as long as your nutrition is in line, good changes will happen. And that's what happened to her.
Wow.
I mean, we
threw the scale away. We didn't measure anything. We just got active, 3-4 days a week. And we set some simple strategies in terms of what she was eating. And it worked.
Wow.
So Scott, because we're at that point, at the new year where everyone is like, we're running to get gym memberships. Everybody's like, let me go get in because I got this vision board and I got these goals and I have this life I want to live. And so we wanted to get you on early because I don't know if the gym membership is the first step. Like, I'm not sure, but as women, we tend to think gym first. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, the best way I can describe it is any workout, be it the gym or a home workout or any class that you take, is only going to shape the food that you take into your body. Mm-hmm. So, I tell people, if you want your muscles to resemble the texture of fried chicken, then, eat Popeyes and go to the gym 3-4 days a week and you're going to look bulky and your skin will be dull and you may have acne. Wow. You're going to resemble what you're eating. Versus if you're eating grilled snapper and asparagus, it's going to be a totally different looking muscle because the food is the foundation.
Yeah.
And it's going to show through your skin. It's going to show through your hair. It's going to show through your nails, your energy level. Everything comes from the inside out. Outside our skin is just a mirror of what's going on inside our bodies. Right. And what's going on inside our bodies is governed by what we eat.
Right. Wow. Popeye looking muscles.
You don't want to do it.
That's how you
it's almost tank top season. You don't want to play yourself.
It is almost tank top.
I didn't even know a muscle could look like Popeye's chicken.
Oh yeah.
Well, we got a lot of brick.
Now next time you see one, you're gonna say that's what Scott was talking about. You'll see it. It's big, it's bulky, it's got no tone, it's got no definition. To be frank, it's just not really that sexy.
Oh,
wow.
Scott, we had this revelation just last year. We were talking about perspective. I think it was an episode on perspective. And we were talking about the fact that, this is probably, listen, it might be a late revelation, but whatever, that our older body lives inside of this body. Mm. And so,
yes.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
We all, we want to be 95 and fine. For example,
absolutely.
Your mother.
Get on that Cicely Tyson program.
Come on.
Man.
Cicely is banging.
What's Cicely over there doing?
Yeah.
Drinking a lot of water and taking long walks every day.
She is killing it.
That's what I hear. I don't know that. I don't know her personally, although we've met, but that's what I understand, that she drinks a lot of water and she takes walks.
Wow.
Get sunshine. It's just that simple. It's not,
That's crazy.
We tend to overcomplicate things, and a lot of that is because we're victims of marketing ploys and obviously marketing imagery that tells women what they're supposed to look like and what products they're supposed to purchase in order to look that way. But, your health and your wellness is your own. And you look however you want to look. So my thing is get healthy on the inside, and how the aesthetics is just going to be the residue of that inside. That's just the outcome, the byproduct. But the goal should be to live a long, healthy, pain-free, disease-free life. And if you do that, you are going to look aesthetically pleasing, however that is. And don't let anybody define that for you.
I love it. Can you walk us briefly through how you got from pharmaceutical sales to being Jill Scott's trainer?
Well, I've always been active. You guys met my mom. For your listeners, my mom is 75 years old. She still plays tennis every day. And she probably looks to be in her early 50s. In her looks as well as in her attitude and her energy.
Yes.
So my father is 88 years old, and he still plays golf 3 or 4 days a week.
Wow.
Very healthy. I've always been in an active family and was always athletic. I played basketball and baseball coming up, and I've got an extensive background in martial arts.
Oh.
Ironically, while I was selling pharmaceuticals, I met a trainer in Los Angeles that had a celebrity clientele, and I began to notice that, and to be frank, it was financial in the beginning, although fitness has always been my passion. Mm-hmm. She was doing quite well and working a fraction of what I was working in corporate America. And, I had just made millions of dollars for my company and received a couple $1,000s bonus at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And was like, enough is enough. I want to take my life into my own hands. And even if I make less money than I'm making in corporate America, at least I'm doing it on my own terms, doing something I enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
And once I got into it, so I started traveling back and forth to Los Angeles. I ended up getting a promotion with my job to Los Angeles, and I was doing both for a while, personal training and pharmaceuticals, and the drug I was selling got pulled from the market for some horrendous side effects. And that was like a wake-up call to me, because I had literally spent the last 3 or 4 years of my career convincing physicians to prescribe a medication that the company knew to be harmful, knew to cause heart attacks and stroke. And it made me just take a step back and look at how we practice health and wellness in our country as a whole. And, I did carry some guilt about that. Mm-hmm. So I started doing fitness full time. And the evolution that I've made over to nutrition, ironically, is because of my 12-year-old niece. When she was 9 years old, she came to visit. My mother brought her to California to visit me. I think you guys saw the picture of her.
Yes.
She was 9 years old, and she was already 154 pounds, and she was pre-diabetic. And I did some experimentation with my traditional meal plans, and she lost a little bit of weight, but not all of it. And I started doing some research about sugar. And I came to realize that between a bowl of cereal, a cup of yogurt, and a glass of orange juice, she was ingesting 3 days worth of sugar at breakfast.
Oh, wow.
And, I realized that it was impossible for her to burn that off. You can't work off 3 days worth of sugar. It turns directly into fat. Mm-hmm. And so I showed you guys a before and after picture, and, maybe you guys can post it on your website or something if you so desire, if people want to see it. But the weight just fell off of her within 3 weeks of me pulling all the extra added sugar out of her diet. Her attitude changed. She got more confident. Just everything changed. Her whole life just kind of reversed. Wow. And it was from that moment on that I wanted all children, women, people of all ages to be able to experience that type of transformation with something as simple as making some few minor changes in the diet.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the short story. There's a lot of other stories in between, but that's kind of the short story.
Wow.
And actually, ironically, I didn't start in pharmaceutical sales. I started my professional career as a high school teacher.
Oh, wow.
So
all of this
between teaching high school and my career in pharmaceuticals, it kind of gives me a nice pool of information to pull from when I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Absolutely.
So you're a wellness educator.
Well, I love it. I like the title. Let's go.
Yeah. So Scott,
I like it.
We're at the top of 2017, and our listeners from over 87 countries want to create change, lasting change, so that we can be that 95 fine. So we can just be like your mama. Your mom is radiant.
Yes,
she is.
Energetic.
Yes, she
and
is.
Beautiful and spirited. She was, oh my gosh, she inspired me so much. So what is one of the first things that we do?
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is take a look in the mirror, and not in the physical sense. We have to take a look into the lifestyle mirror and look at where the problems are.
Okay.
Some people it may be inactivity. Some people it may be diet. Some people it may be a lot of times we know what the issue is.
Yeah.
whether we want to say it out loud to ourselves or not. A lot of times we don't. And if we don't know what the issue is, then we owe it to ourselves to go find out.
That's right.
And, and there's some simple ways to do that. It doesn't necessarily involve thousands of dollars to some high price Manhattan trainer or, a doctor's visit. You've got to take a good assessment of yourself. And that's what I try to do, is provide those simple tools to assess yourself. Yeah. Are you drinking 100 ounces of water a day? Are you getting 30 minutes of sunshine a day? Are you eating fruits and vegetables 80% of the time in your diet? Are you moving 30 minutes a day, 3 to 5 days a week? These are real simple questions that you can ask yourself. And it's also a great way to find out where the problem areas are.
Okay. I don't mean no harm, but Scott, you just dropped like 4 bombs. you just casually dropped like 4 bombs on us.
Okay, well,
you're just gonna breeze through that like that.
He's like, if you're not doing these problems, you ain't living. If you're not doing these, then you're whack. Okay, so basically that's what it is. But no, you know what, Scott? That's real, because I can look at 4 out of 5 of those things and say where I need to ante up.
Right.
I do.
I mean, these things are. I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry, and most of the drugs have side effects. However, there are natural foods that, have similar effects to these drugs without the harmful side effects. God gave us fruits and vegetables for us to eat.
Right.
They capture the power of the sun within them. And that's how we get the power of the sun into our bodies, is by eating fruits and vegetables. That sun is the giver of life for everything on this earth, including us. So it will behoove us to go soak some up.
Right.
Our bodies are at least 80% water. If you're depriving yourself of what it's made of, then some other health issues and concerns are going to suffer.
So
these are just some hard things, hard facts of life.
Yeah.
But they can be addressed in a way that can fit into everyone's lifestyle. So you have to take incremental steps. Nobody gets from string bean to obesity overnight, and it's not going to reverse overnight. So we can make I'm not saying go from 1 glass of water to a gallon. I'm saying go from 1 glass of water to 2.
Right.
And then next week go to 3. And just monitor yourself. There is no timetable other than the one that you set for yourself. I just say set goals that you can obtain.
Yeah. Well, is it fair to say that most of us have a sugar addiction and don't know it?
Yes.
I would say, I wouldn't go so far as to say everyone is sugar addicted, but I would venture to say that 90% of our population ingests way more sugar than they're aware of.
Okay.
And the reason for that is sugar is not regulated in this country. So if you go on the back of any food label or any drink label and you see all of the daily percentages, it'll say calcium. This Coca-Cola has 19% of your calcium for the day. This other food has 80% of your protein for the day. Well, if you look at sugar, there's never a percentage for the recommended daily allowance. So nobody really knows how much to take in and what it's doing to us. That's one of the biggest issues, is misinformation.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of public speaking and outreach for the American Heart Association. I'm a Healthy Heart ambassador for them. And I utilize their guidelines for nutrition, which is for women should take in no more than 6 teaspoons of sugar per day, which is 24 grams.
Most people are doing 3 to 4 teaspoons in 1 cup of coffee.
See, I feel
to give you, it's Starbucks, and I hate to call out companies, I'm sorry, but a lot of these popular coffee companies, if you do the research, you'll quickly find that a lot of these drinks have 2 and 3 days worth of sugar in them every day. I'll tell you, I shared a story to your group when we were in the Dominican Republic when we were in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, about my dear friend Patricia, who used to stop at the drive-thru every morning and get a coffee and add several that had a lot of sugar in it. Well, she had no family history of breast cancer and went in for a routine checkup. They found a lump. 3 weeks later, she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And I have no proof of it, but I personally blame it on her high sugar intake over the course of a number of years. See, this doesn't happen overnight. It accumulates.
Right.
You're taking 3 days worth of sugar in every day, and you're doing it 4 or 5 days a week, and you do it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And the body's constantly getting bombarded with more sugar than it can handle.
Yeah.
See, sugar not only causes diabetes and heart disease, it also causes cancer. So we have to be mindful of this on a variety of fronts. So we have to really be careful of the things that we're drinking and the things that we're eating in terms of sugar content and salt content. I would say those are the 2 biggest blockades to our overall health.
Wow.
So all your listeners, all women, and within the sound of my voice, 6 teaspoons, 24 grams of sugar per day is your limit. If you read every label, everything that you eat, and adhere to 24 grams of sugar per day, you will, number one, find out where your excess sugar is in your diet. And number two, begin the road back to being healthier within days. You'd be amazed when you pull 70 grams of sugar out of someone's diet. Mm-hmm. They start losing 2 and 3 pounds a day for the first several weeks.
Wow.
It's so true.
And most
How
of
often have we heard of people been working out? I changed my diet. I took all the fat out of my diet. I no longer eat meat. Well, if you no longer eat meat, that's one thing. But if you drink a large Coke every day, that adds 75 minutes of cardio to your workout just to break even.
Really, Scott? You're killing me right now.
A large Coke will take you 75 minutes of bike riding to burn off.
Scott, so what's my 20 minutes of cardio doing?
Bike ride.
Just making you feel better mentally, but nothing for your body. You might as well stay home.
Scott, you may as well stay home.
The only thing you're doing is burning up your precious gas in your car. You burn more energy texting.
Scott, come on now. That 20 minutes got to be burning at least.
Not if you. I mean, listen. I've had clients that drink 4 or 5 cans of Coke a day. I have a client in Florida that lost 8 pounds in 10 days by cutting Diet Coke.
Wow.
Diet Coke.
Wow.
See, even though something may not have sugar, if it has artificial sweetener, oftentimes the body will process it the same way.
Wow.
So a lot of, we have to, I'm really big on, not using artificial sweeteners because the jury's out as to whether they cause cancer, and the jury's also out as to whether it converts into fat once it hits the liver. So it's better to just stay away from those things. I try to be as all natural as possible.
Right.
I worked in an industry where everything was man-made and artificial. And I learned a lot that way. So now I'm trying to go the other way.
So let me ask you.
I truly believe that God put everything that we need on the face of this earth going out of the soil. We just have to find out what they are and identify them for what they're used for.
Right.
He did.
So how you mentioned, because one thing you said I love when you said Jill did not like to work out, but she liked bike riding. So you guys just took it as a hobby and made it something that you integrated on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
So, because so many of us are just afraid of the gym or don't like the gym and haven't even gotten up moving yet. So I love the idea of locating a hobby, something that you already love. It could be kickball. It could be what?
It could be line dancing, salsa, bike riding. It could be any hobby that you want. I would say 2 things to do is find something that you really like to do and find somebody that you really like to do with it. That way you guys can hold each other accountable.
That's so good.
That's really
and it
good.
ceases becoming a workout and it starts to become an enjoyable activity.
That's so
like
true.
my mother isn't playing tennis to work out. My mother's playing tennis because she loves tennis and she loves all of her female friends that she plays tennis with.
Yeah.
And it just so happens to keep her in shape.
Yeah.
And she loves the outfit too. Let's be clear. Your mama.
Well, she did just request a camouflage tennis skirt for Christmas.
I love Mama.
Where are you going with this camouflage tennis skirt on, Mama?
Going to the yard.
Where are you going?
I love it.
I might have to get up to the tennis club. There must be somebody up there I don't know about.
Oh, Lord. That is so funny. But you know what? That is so true. Like that accountability piece. I mean, the time in my life, I had gotten up to a place where I had been the largest I had ever been in my life. I had not had a baby. I was only 21 years old, but I was literally busting out of all of my clothes.
Right.
And I remember my kind of breaking point was I had a size that I refused to go over. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I have to do something. And I started working out with a friend of mine in Atlanta, and I got down to the smallest size I've ever been, even to this day. And
I'll tell you, when you know somebody else is going to be at a certain place waiting on you, you're more apt to go.
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
Even if you don't feel like going, well, I know Sybil's going to be there, so I better hop on up and do it.
Yeah,
because I don't want to hear her mouth.
It's so true.
Yeah, so it's very important for people who just don't like to exercise.
Yeah,
and the gym, let's face it, the gym can be an intimidating place. There's all these pieces of equipment. We don't know what they're used for.
Yeah.
There's all these big guys sweating and, all this testosterone flowing for no reason. So if you don't like the gym, then don't go.
Yeah. Let me
Just
ask you a
simple.
question, Scott, because we have a large population of our girlfriends who are single and are dating and are sort of looking to get out in the mix. And I feel like, some of your emotional and mental esteem is built around, your wellness and even some of the foods that you intake that help to get you high and low. Can you speak to some of that really quickly for us?
Well, again, I don't like to define. I think everybody should take ownership for their own bodies and how they want to look. Mm-hmm. And once you truly embrace your vision for you, then it's just a matter of action and execution. So I don't have, when I approach a client, I don't have any preset way that I want he or she to look. Yeah, I just go by body part by body part. What is it that you want me to do? How do you want the end result to present itself?
God,
And then we can just work from there.
Yeah.
We can just work from there. But again, it's your choice and nobody else's. If you go to a fitness professional and they're not asking you what you're eating on a daily basis and what your physical goals are, then what is that person really going to teach you?
Yeah. And
So it shouldn't be a dictatorship. It really should be something of a sharing of information so you can take what you get from your trainer and go, implement it in your own life. And then when you think you got a handle on that, come back and he or she will give you a little bit more.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be do this because I said so. It should be an exchange.
Well, Scott, we're in this era where the brick house, that 36-24-36, that waist training brick house is quote unquote the standard. And so many people are measuring themselves against our waist training social, our Instagram girls, and trying, to say that's the standard. I love that you said part by part.
Yeah, body part by body part. I mean, number one, don't get me started on the waist trainer.
Please do. Come on, talk about the waist trainer.
Well, I don't like to alienate anybody, so let me approach this from a scientific standpoint.
But are they good for us?
Well, let me approach this from a scientific standpoint.
Okay, good.
Since I have a biology degree, I feel as though I can speak from that platform.
There you gotta speak.
And a minor in chemistry. We'll get to that later. Your organs sit in a certain arrangement that is conducive to your overall health in your body, to keep your body in balance. It's what's called homeostasis. You're not supposed to move your organs around and relocate them and constrict them.
Sounds painful.
Because when you do that, you throw the body out of its natural rhythm. And one of the main things that can happen is you can disrupt your digestion. And once you disrupt your digestion, you're no longer processing food in the same way, because your digestion is what takes the energy out of the food and disperses it to your body. If you disrupt that process, you're disrupting your entire life process. So yeah, it may cinch your waist for the moment, but in the long run, I think we're going to see in another couple of decades that people who use those religiously might be seeing some long-term damaging effects from that. So I don't suggest that for anybody. It's one thing to wrap your body with some sort of neoprene wrap or something to develop a little extra sweat, to try to get the sweat from underneath your skin. But to actually cinch your waist to where it's changing the shape of your internal organs and their orientation, that just cannot be healthy.
Yeah.
There's no way that can be healthy.
Yeah.
And if I was dating a woman that used one of those things, I would cut it into pieces when she was asleep and just suffer the consequences. Because I want her here for a long time, and I don't want her to have problems. So,
Scott, I would hate to be a woman that you tried to date.
I know.
Because I would have a woman that dated you would have to literally watch everything.
No. See, that's not how it is. I'm not the food police. I have fun.
You do?
I work hard and I play hard. So, you might see me eat some things that might shock you. But what you don't see is the overconsumption of fruit and vegetables that I do to compensate for that. I'm not asking anybody to be a robot, least of all myself.
Yeah.
But I don't turn, we shouldn't turn snacks into meals. That's what Jill Scott used to say. You have a snack and you leave it alone. Don't eat the whole pie. Get a small slice that makes sense, satisfy your sweet tooth, and move on. So it's just small changes like that.
That's good. That is so good. The other thing I'm learning from this conversation is there are no true shortcuts. We play the long game with wellness. Shortcuts
bring about short results.
Yeah.
But the real goal should be to live a lifestyle that allows you to look and feel exactly how you want to look and feel. And that only happens through slow, sustainable changes. And that takes a while. There are different studies that say every cell in your body replicates over the course of 90 days. So if you start a good habit on January 1st, 90 days from that point, by April 1st, theoretically, you can be an entirely new woman.
Right. Oh, I love that.
That's so good.
Or you can be an entirely woman of worse health. If you adopt some bad habits and allow those to become ingrained in your lifestyle. So it works both ways.
Right.
There's no quick fixes and there's no quick elevators down to the bottom. These things takes time for the wheels to fall off. It's going to take time to repair it, but we just need that consistency.
I feel like the toughest thing with the sugar is the cravings.
Yeah, that is very true. Sugar is highly addictive. I read a study that showed that some scientists took some rats and got them addicted to cocaine, some lab mice. And then they offered those cocaine addicted lab mice the option of cocaine or water with sugar in it. And overwhelmingly, they chose the sugar over the cocaine that they were already addicted to. So these, sugar hits the same pleasure centers as cocaine. We just don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this is how you go to the store and end up with things in your shopping cart that you had no idea that you were going to the store to get. This is why there's candy bars and candy and gum all around the checkout counter.
Right.
Because addiction works, part of it is sight and sensory. So when you see that wrapper, even though you didn't want it initially, it triggers some salivary glands in your mouth. And the next thing you know, you have a candy bar that you didn't even want. So we don't see it as sugar. Some people, they can't start unless I have that cola. Well, you're addicted to sugar in the Coca-Cola.
That's the people that wake up to coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same thing. We don't see it that way because it's legal.
Yeah.
But if something else was killing 300,000 people a year due to, and that's a statistic. 300,000 people a year in the United States die from drinking soft drinks and coffee.
Wow.
And the causes are heart disease, diabetes, and cancer.
Wow. Scott, did you hear what I said? That we never find ourselves, I've never once been in the line and been putting my stuff on the little rolling thing to check out and said, man, I'm craving some broccoli. I need to go back and get a bag of broccoli so I can steam it later. I tell you, if you readjust your diet to where you're eating 80% fruit and vegetables, you may not crave them, but when you don't have them in your diet, you will notice a significant difference. Let me testify. Thanksgiving, I just went wrong. I mean, I just,
I need to see your face with that.
I'm glad because I can see yours.
I violated myself on Thanksgiving. And when I came back to New York, I was like, I need some spinach. I need some salad. I need greens. I have to detox.
Your body needs fiber to break down the protein that you've been taking in.
I felt so sluggish and heavy and just, ugh.
Right. So in that way, you are having a vegetable craving. Yeah. But we just haven't been taught that that's what that is.
Yeah.
Vegetable cravings don't pay as well as sugar cravings do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Scott,
vegetable cures don't pay as well as pharmaceutical cures do. This is why you don't know that you can cure allergies with blueberries.
See.
This is why you don't know that 10 days of fruits and vegetables can virtually get you off your insulin as a diabetic.
Nice. Wow.
Because it doesn't pay.
Yeah.
So again, this is another aspect of us taking our lives under our own control.
Absolutely.
And not being victims of marketing, not being victims of the assault on women's imagery.
Yeah.
We have to stop being victims to all of that. Nobody can tell you how to look, and certainly nobody should tell you how to feel, and everybody has the right to be healthy.
So let's talk about some of these solutions, because I walked away from Restoration Weekend like, all right, I got to clean out my refrigerator so I can get our family on track. And I came home, my husband was like, so wait, what we cutting out? I'm like,
right.
Like, yes, Scott said we are supposed to have 5 ingredients.
Name it. Vegetables,
water.
fruits.
Okay, fruits.
Vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, and seeds.
Come on, now I'm supposed to name it.
Well, I didn't want you to flunk on air, so I went on ahead and gave it to you. I'm kind.
So those 5.
Well, what it is, those 5 things are called micronutrients. And those foods from those 5 groups are small enough to penetrate the cells of our body and kind of detoxify them and clean them out. Now, what is that, a Coke you're drinking?
No, this is water. My Swell bottle. That's water.
Okay, I can't see. My bad. I just,
Wouldn't that
you
be
see how that,
nerve?
did y'all see how quickly that happened?
It's like you got the nerve to
Are you
drink a
going to
Coke?
drink the soda in my face? You're
water.
kidding me right now. So, okay, vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, and seeds. These 5 things are small enough to penetrate our cells of our body, and they kind of clean them out and detoxify them and boost our immune system. Everything else is called macronutrients. That means they're too big to penetrate the cell. So what you want to do is keep your diet 80% micronutrients. So yes, you can still have meat. Yes, you can still have dairy. You just have to have smaller amounts. And as long as you're consuming 80% of your diet as vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, and seeds, you will be considerably healthier.
So on an average day, someone who's eating that way, what would their breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like?
Well, breakfast could either be, my favorite is the green shake.
Yes.
Where I'm mixing my spinach and fruit. Now, everybody isn't into that like me, but that's what I do. I take a spinach, watermelon, pineapple, banana smoothie. And that's what I have for breakfast.
It's so good.
Alternatively, I mean, there's many things that you can eat. Beans, nuts, seeds, salad. You can have eggs, just a small amount. Scrambled egg whites, I would suggest, to cut out some of the fat. Even if you're going to have bread, have one slice of toast instead of two. Again, I'm not cutting things completely out. You just want to have them in smaller amounts. Oatmeal is a great source of fiber. You just have to find ones that are low in sugar. Mm-hmm. Keeping in mind the 24 grams per day limit that you have as ladies. I could send you a list. The list is extensive because under each one of these, there's a mile-long list of foods that follow, and you just kind of mix and match how you want to.
So here's the amazing thing, if I'm understanding you properly. The 24 grams of sugar does not include fruits.
No, it's what we call added sugar. So here's a distinction. It does not include fruit, but it does include fruit juice.
Right.
Okay.
For instance, if you eat an orange, you do not count the sugar in the orange. But if you drink orange juice, you count the sugar in the orange juice because the company has taken the fiber out of the orange juice that just left you with the sugar.
Got it. Okay.
And even if the juice says it has pulp, you could flip the label over and the fiber will still say 0. So it's not enough fiber to do what it's really supposed to do.
So that's not bad then at all, because you can have oatmeal and you could put bananas in it as your sweetener.
Absolutely. And it does not count against it.
That's not bad.
But you'll find the biggest offenders will be soft drinks, condiments, surprising things like yogurt. I get questions like, is Greek yogurt good? Well, you can take 2 different brands of Greek yogurt. One will have 4 grams of sugar and the other one will have 18.
Wow.
So again, I'm not into the front of the label. I'm into the back.
Yeah.
And so I can't make a blanket statement about any type of food. Some people ask me about coconut water. Again, some have 8, some have 28 grams of sugar. It's all in what they put into it.
I love it.
Me too. So that list you're saying, we can pass it over to our girlfriends to...
Yeah, I'll shoot you a list. Awesome. I'm actually coming up with a 30-day plan that will reset your body and over the course of 30 days take you to a diet that is 80% micronutrient.
Oh, once you get
So it starts as a detox and then you start adding things back into it. And what you'll end up with is your own 80-20 plan.
That's fantastic.
Well, Scott, we're here for it. So whatever you have,
I got you guys covered.
If you have books, program, ways our great
girlfriends.
girlfriends.
We might have to do a weekend where I take you guys. I'm going to have to take you guys through it personally. Don't drop your head. I can see you. Do you know that I can see you?
Turn the camera off, Cyril. He wasn't supposed to see that.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
But we need it. We want it.
Well, you can't actively talk about these things unless you've been through them yourself.
I know. And then,
Scott, you poo-pooed on my 20-minute workout I've been doing every day.
I didn't mean to hate on your 20s, but...
You said you could text more and get better results.
But if you're drinking large Coke every day, you're still 55 minutes in the hole. What do you want me to do about that?
But the truth of it is, Scott, because I'm a mom, I have 2 small kids, and I want them to have habits that will take them well into their older years. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And any other girlfriends listening, we just have to have more consciousness. And like you said, we can't get so caught up in the front of the label. We have to be very intentional around what we take in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
You have to take ownership of our own health. We have to.
Yes.
We have to. There's too many other things coming against us, especially women. There's an attack on women's imagery in this country. We can't allow something that can be corrected by food to add on to that.
Right.
We have to get a handle on this thing. You're the mothers of civilization. So there's a big responsibility that comes with that. You have to take care of the food. We have to.
All right, enough about food.
So Scott, while we got you on here, we gonna give our great girlfriends a little bonus piece.
Go.
Give us 3 things women should know about dating.
3 things women should know about dating. Number 1, stop taking advice from your single girlfriends about relationships. If they knew what they were talking about, they would have a man.
Ooh. Oh, Scott, that's mean.
Now, there may be some exceptions to that rule, and I'm not making a blanket statement, but I'm just saying. A lot of times I say, well, my girlfriend told me that girl been single since 1983. What can she tell you? except how to be single and miserable like her.
Oh Lord.
You might be
I mean, honestly, would you take fitness advice from me if I looked like I was out of shape and unhealthy?
We wouldn't. We would.
So
That's
if somebody has a track record of unhealthy relationships that always end in a ball of flames, what can she tell you about yours?
That's so true. That's so true. I love it. Okay, number 2, because Scott, you are a second
Number
guy
2.
on here, so we gotta get all the information we can.
When all else fails, be kind.
Oh, that's good.
So good.
I like that.
Kindness will take you to places that no other tool can take you.
Oh,
I love that.
So
Listen, I'm a black male in this country. You know, it's very dangerous. I'm 20 times more likely to be shot by police than a white counterpart of mine.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of pressure on me that a lot of other sex don't have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
When I come home, I don't want to have another fight. It's going to make me not want to come home. No one wants to come home from the battlefield to another battle.
That is so real.
When all else fails, be kind. I mean, that's probably the most important. I should have said that first, to be honest.
Even if you're screaming inside.
If you're screaming inside, there's just, things happen. Hey, there's going to be blow-ups.
Yeah.
Again, I don't make any blanket statements, but there's also something called effective communication.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
And if you're dealing with somebody that probably can't hear you, see, I'm the type of person, if you start yelling at me, I match that energy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Most people will.
Yes.
Yeah.
So instead of listening and trying to absorb what you're saying, I'm going to become defensive and try to state my point, and it's going to blow up, and it's just going to be an unhealthy exchange.
Right. Scott, I feel like sometimes women, we set the tone. Is that true?
Absolutely. I think so. I think so.
I think we set the tone.
And don't get me wrong, some brothers out there coming up short. I don't give anybody a pass. Bad behavior is bad behavior. Yeah. And sometimes a person deserves a tongue lashing. But if you come from a platform of kindness on a daily basis, that will make me want to come back home to that kindness every day.
Oh, that's so great.
Even if we have to talk about some difficult topics.
Yeah, that's so good.
I know, you're right. Some dudes can't get their bags in the door before they get hit with some stuff.
Getting hit with it. And they can't wait to get back out.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they find
and then there's somebody at the office.
Ooh.
And guess what? She's kind.
She's kind. You're right. She don't have to.
And we wonder how we end up in these situations where everybody had a part to play.
Yeah. That's so
I didn't run out of this house. You ran me out of here. Things happen. Come on, everybody's got to be accountable for their own actions.
I love
That's
it.
Real.
All right, number 3.
So I just want to reiterate, kindness will take you a long way.
That's so good.
Number 3, most of those things that you're doing, cosmetic wise, the guys don't notice. That's for your girlfriends.
Where you at? What?
I see you.
What?
We don't notice.
What? Our nails?
Every man
nails
hair.
Now, don't get me wrong. If your nails are dirty,
dirty,
or chipped up, I'm gonna notice. But if you go from wine to bubble gum, I might not catch my eye.
Every man says that.
If you get a rinse in your hair, and I've been out, if I've trained 9 people today, and whatever else I had to do, I might not catch that color difference right off the bat.
I used to do this to my husband. I would come to the door and I would say, "You notice something?" He'd say, "You got your eyebrows done? You got what?"
Yeah, you just got to start running down the list until you hit something. I don't know what's happened today. You mean your hair wasn't blonde yesterday?
Oh, Lord!
But if you kind, you can put on a baseball cap and a tank top, and I'm never leaving.
I love it.
Oh, I love it.
But I just think, again, I think we get caught up in what society says we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
What marketing ploys, of the week are. We're supposed to have these $8,000 shoes, and, we're supposed to get our hair done every week because that's how you keep a man, and all these other fallacies. How you keep a man is being kind, be supportive, and come from a platform of love.
Yeah.
The man's going to love you regardless of what your nails look like.
Right. So many of our
and
girlfriends are looking
conversely, if
good.
he's coming at you because of your nails or because of your shoes, he's not coming at you from an organic place.
Yeah.
So you don't want to attract superficial things attract superficial people.
That's true.
Good, Scott.
That love and that kindness will shine through your skin, through your spirit, through your aura.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it.
So now, if you enjoy shoes, then go buy all the shoes you want to. Just don't think that that's going to sway somebody one way or the other. Because, I mean, if it's me personally, I might not even see them.
What about if I get my hair cut?
Depends on how drastic. I got to be honest.
That's the thing. We have so many of our girlfriends are just, I mean, they are laid. They are just dressed to
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I just think you have to understand that has way more of an impact on your girlfriends than it does your prospective male dating pool.
Yeah, and if, like you said, if you're not wearing it with love, none of it matters.
None of it matters.
None of it matters.
I love a tank top and some jean shorts. Love it. Yeah. Nothing sexier than a comfortable woman.
So are you single, Scott?
I have a girlfriend. I'm not married.
Okay, got you. Okay.
I was, this is a funny story. Y'all will like this story. So I dated a young lady when I was in the 10th grade. Mm-hmm. We dated for about a year, went our separate ways. Mm-hmm. She became an actress. I did my thing. I bumped back into her at the BET Awards in June. We hadn't seen each other in 30 years.
Wow.
I had seen her face because she's been in movies and some television, but I had not seen her in person or spoken to her in 30 years. And she hadn't seen my face in 30 years since I graduated from high school. So we bumped into each other in June. She's living in Los Angeles. Probably about 3 days later, we started dating. Wow. And we've been together. So I'm dating my high school sweetheart that I hadn't seen in 30 years.
Wow.
We're born 3 days apart. We're born 3 days apart in the same year.
Wow.
She's July 12th. I'm July 15th.
Uh-huh.
And she's very, very kind.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful.
So if you watch on the OWN network, Where Are They Now? Uh-huh. And you can see this past Saturday, they did a Where Are They Now on her. Her name's Lisa Nicole Carson.
Lisa Nicole
and
Carson.
they interviewed both of us for Where Are They Now.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, girlfriends. He is very, very taken.
I'm taken. I don't want no problems.
That's right.
She's kind, but she don't play no games, so please.
Most of us kind girls don't.
So don't.
Please.
Well, I love it. Thank you
so much.
Oh, thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Oh my gosh, you are so awesome.
Okay, I'm going to follow up because we still have some things to discuss offline. I missed class, but can dance in a cast.
Scott, you have put some fire under my butt personally, especially in regards to sugar.
Okay.
Yep, and I'm still working on my baby fat.
I know that's my weak point. So thank you so much for putting fire under
So I want to put this out there on the air.
Uh-oh.
I'm offering to take both of you. Yes, get in the light so I can see you. I will take both of you through my 30-day reset.
Wow.
Personally. And I'll even use Skype. Haven't used Skype since the Civil Rights Movement, but I'll use Skype.
I told you that was simple.
And then you guys tell me how you feel on the other side of it.
You know what, Scott? I'm down.
We can do it, Brandis.
I'm down. As a matter of fact,
I'm putting it out there. I am willing to waive my fee and take both of you through my 30 days.
Scott,
I love it.
Scott, we are down. And what we will do on our end is we will post weekly updates. So photographs in the same outfit that you can use on any platform you want to use.
Sounds good to me. You know, I don't worry about all that. I just really want you guys to go through this because honestly, you know, I'm from the South, been a big meat eater my whole life.
Yes.
You know, went to FAMU, so I drank a little alcohol as a young man. But changing my nutrition to where it's 80% plant-based has been the most effective thing that I've done. And I've been involved in athletics most of my life.
Wow.
Nothing has impacted my life from a physical and spiritual standpoint for that matter than this.
Wow.
So I really want you guys to experience it. It changes everything. Your clarity of thought, your energy level. You talk about some ideas and entrepreneurship stuff popping. Wait till you get that sugar fog from around your brain. It's unbelievable. The world looks brand new.
Wow.
And I want you guys to feel that.
We're ready, Scott. So
all right.
You let us know when we can start, and we're ready.
We can start today. It's not my butt, it's yours.
You forgot who we talking to.
I need to get. I'm ready.
All you got to do, you have my number.
Can I get a pass for Christmas Day?
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Start class trying to get a pass.
Already trying to get a pass.
That's the only thing I want. Oh, so Scott, how can our great girlfriends find out about the 30-day? Will you send us a link?
I'll send you a link. It's going to be on my website, scottpfit.com.
Okay. So great.
I'm not going to post it until after I take you guys through it. I was going to launch it at the top of the year.
Okay.
So I want to get you guys through it so you can more effectively, speak on what we're doing.
Okay. So we're ready.
But they can hit my website. I have online classes available at scottpfit.com.
Oh.
Anybody can hit me on Twitter or Instagram at Scott P. Fit or Facebook at Scott Parker.
Okay. I love it.
A lot of stuff I'll just answer questions for free because, like I said, everybody deserves to be healthy and I can't hoard the information. So
and you don't. And you're not even
just hit me up.
Yes, everyone deserves to be healthy.
Hit me up. Let's get sexy. Summertime is coming. Let's get the summertime fine going. What's up?
Let's do it, Scott. Let's do it.
I'm taking my shirt off at baggage claim. What are we doing?
Thank you so
Don't
much.
worry, I'm still shallow. Though.
Listen, I think we all are. It's all good.
Absolutely.
All good.
It's all about balance.
I don't know if you caught that, Brandon. You may have been gone, but one of those days we were out there. I mean, we're just facing the water, and Scott's just flexing on the side of he's on the side of a cliff, flexing with his shirt off, just stretched out, just flexing muscles.
I had to get my 30 minutes of sunshine.
Going in, just doing his stretch.
I was getting my medication.
Listen, the ladies behind the door were pressed on the sliding door like,
Jesus have mercy.
watching you stretching.
Well, y'all should have come out there with me. 30 days, ladies. 30 days. Hey, thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the movement that you guys have going. Everybody needs support. And this platform that you guys are providing for support for women is just awesome. Thanks so much.
Scott. Thank you.
All right. You guys take care. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear from you.
Oh,
it's coming.
It's coming.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.